Love is on its way out. Love is on its way out. Love is tired and it's on its way out. But before it goes.
Hello, this is Andy83, and today I'm gonna do my first video blog in my new office. The lighting seemed to be flickering, I'm sorry about that, but you know, I'm too lazy to find other light sources. Today's topic is going to be about Simpsons. They had a new episode almost a week ago. It takes a while for me to get it. I live in Norway and there's region blocks and all those things, so you know, I had to borrow it from a friend of mine. I have Disney Plus, but you know, they don't add the newest episodes, so I had to look around, see if I could find it somewhere. Legally, of course. Anyway, this episode was called Panic on the Streets of Springfield, and it was aired 18th of April 2021. And the reason why I want to talk about that is because I am a huge fan of Morrissey, and he was character assassinated on that show, but also because I enjoyed The Simpsons back in the day. I was a huge fan. You can see now on the screen that I have 10 or 11 of the DVDs, and I know approximately when it went downhill, and we can talk about that later. I am, as I said, also a huge fan of Morrissey and the Smiths. I have made even videos on it on my channel. You can look it up if you want to. I can maybe add it on in the comment section below, where I talk for length about Morrissey and the Smiths and why I like them, like him. He is a great artist, and yes. Anyway, I saw the episode yesterday, knowingly that I was going to talk about it today, but as it turns out, I kind of forgot it. It was a very bad episode, so you know, as a review, if you just want to know what I thought, it was bad. But I'm gonna go into details, but I need to skip through it quickly just to remember what the hell it was. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'll return. Okay, so now I will look through it quickly, and I thought, while I watched it, I probably should do like a sandwich, or not a sandwich, but I'm going to try to be objective and talk about the things that are good first, and then the bad. The good things are that I think the young Morrissey. Again, they are cowardly people. People in Hollywood are cowardly, so they pretended that he was not Morrissey, which is of course bullshit. Sorry for swearing, but that's the truth. Quillaby, as they call him, looks just like Morrissey, both young and old. Of course, old, he looks grotesque, so it's a grotesque drawings of him, but it's no doubt that they are trying to make the real life Morrissey look grotesque, you know. So it looks like Morrissey in a grotesque way. They made him grotesque and ugly, but it doesn't look like that, but it looks like that in a grotesque way, if that makes any sense. And the young Morrissey looks also like him, but the writers claim that, oh no, this is a combination of many types of 80s artists like Ian Curtis and Robert Smith, but the character looks nothing like any of them, and the music doesn't look anything like them. So the first positive thing is that especially the young Morrissey looks like Morrissey. I also thought that the music that they put into that show, that was supposed to be a parody of the Smiths, sounded like the Smiths and Morrissey. It did sound like that. It was kind of like the Smiths, right? Of course, it's a parody, so they made it absurd. also kind of distorting. It's difficult for me to talk positively about it because I listen to myself always turning to the negative. That, for instance, in one of the songs that I skimmed through, is like, everybody is horrible except me and possibly you. That is not something Morrissey ever wrote, anything like that. He wrote about being different in society, and he wrote about like how people are this and that. But he also made fun of it sometimes. He had irony, self irony, like in the song Ouija Board, which is a great song. He sings, he complains to a dead person through the Ouija board, and he says like, where I'm trapped here in this place where people are carnivores and destructors, right? And then the Ouija board answers him, and he says, "Oh my God, the table is turning, or the glass is moving. No, I did not move it that time," which is a joke too, right? Because this character that I guess could be called Morrissey, but also is whatever, probably did it the first time, and then the second time he did not move it, and then what is written on the Ouija board is sod off Morrissey, and sod off Stephen, which is Morrissey's first name. So he has a lot of self irony, as it's called in Norwegian. I don't know what it's called in English. Making fun of himself. He is not beyond that. But this is not making fun of him. This is character assassination. This is a perversion of him. For one thing, for some reason they decided to make this old Morrissey non-vegan. And he says on the stage, like, I stopped being vegan because I realized it was foreigners who made up the idea of veganism, which is just okay. Where did that come from? Is that some kind of new identity politic idea spread on the universities, that veganism was discovered in India or something? I don't know. I highly doubt that. I'm not sure who the first vegan was, but I know that in Catholicism in Greece, Hellas, I think that they prefer calling themselves Hellas, so I'm going to do that. People of Hellas have 2 days of the week that are vegan. And that's a Catholic thing, and of course Western Hellas is the birth, the cradle of the Western society, or something like that. So but again, I don't know, perhaps it was just a joke. It was just a joke, lol, it was just a joke. Why think so much about it? But the point is, he's not a meat eater. I am a meat eater, but he's not. It's not gone back on that. But for some reason that they had to do that. And it's kind of like, I don't know, making Jesus gay, you know? It's like you make a character who represents something clearly and then make him the other thing that he's not. Just to provoke, you know? That's... If he was a religious person, or if he was a religious icon, that would be blasphemous, right? But it's not. He's not, of course. But you're actually perverting what his stands are, and also the disdain for for everybody else, which I think is wrong. Morrissey has been very humble. There is a documentary that you can watch here on YouTube called Real Life with Morrissey, where fans talk about how they experienced their interaction with Morrissey, and he seems to be very ground-based, loving, warm. Of course, he probably don't want to be. He has an avoidant personality, I guess. He likes a recluse, I think they also call it, like a person who likes to be alone, which I think is fine. But I think he has the ability to be nice to fans, nice to people. And I think he's nice to anyone who are fans of him, no matter the race or religion or their or their sexual orientation. I think that's a fact. Of course, it may. I have never heard, at least, that he's treated a black man worse than a white or a Latino, and he's huge among the Latinos in America, USA. And I don't think he would have been huge among the Latino population if he was cruel to them. Actually, Ant-Man 2, Ant-Man and the Wasp, has like a clear tribute to Morrissey and how important he has been to the Latino community in the United States. But then again, they pervert him, and so it's make like foreigners. He hates foreigners, and of course the biggest foreign population in the United States are the Latinos. And if he hated them, then why would they like him, right? He, of course, are like any sane person. He believes in borders. He believes in preserving cultures. That's real diversity. Like, you can't have an England if 90% of the English population are foreigners. Then that will not be. And I know there are ideal ideas that you can preserve a culture even if the country's population has been exchanged or removed. Like if you put all of the Somali people in the UK, but have a very good integration policy, then suddenly they will become British, enjoying tea and stiff upper lip and the Queen and all those things. I think that's a naive idea that has no grounding in reality. Culture is more than values and customs. It's a people. And if you exchange too many of a people, then that nation will cease to be and something else will come. And if that exchange happens too rapidly and to a huge enough degree, then we'll remove all diversity and it will just become a homogeneous blob. And I think I will not quote him on this, but I think if you could call him a racist, that would be because he actually believes in borders and preserving cultures, like the British culture and like the Western culture, which is threatened. I think that's a fact, by massive immigration. But that's a debate for another time. But does it make him a racist? Probably not. I would not say that. But I think also he recognized that a lot of losers in this world, because he is the voice of losers, lose more in a multicultural world. You see the incels. Many of those are portrayed as white, and they're becoming losers because they are becoming a minority, slowly becoming a minority. So they're becoming losers in two ways, like the social economic losers, but also the losers of their own country, their own identities. And he recognizes that through songs that has provoked like National Front Disco, which I think many people, he's sympathizing or even liking the National Front, but he didn't do that. He made a song recognizing the losers and why they sometimes go to those groups, which makes him dangerous, horrible, evil creature, because he recognizes he isn't a black and white type person. He recognizes the world that you have good and evil, but you also have reasons people turning good and evil and doing good and bad stuff, and so he problematizes. He tries to narrate a type of person that would go into right-wing groups. And why? So that we can understand that and perhaps even help or ease it or make them come back to the normal people, whatever. I digress. The point is that one positive sign was he looked like Morrissey, at least the young one, and the old one was recognizable, but obviously supposed to be a grotesque character. And the music sounded like Morrissey. I think it was made by a couple of known New Zealand artists called Flight of the Conchords or something like that. And I think they are, and I haven't paid much attention to them, but I know who they are. I think they are seen as talented people. So they did rather good parodies of Morrissey songs. Then the first thing that struck me in that episode was that Dr. Hubbard didn't sound like Dr. Hubbard, and that's one of the things that you can also see now, is that the Simpsons, not only are they banned because of how badly structured and how they don't see the fact. I think this is my theory. I can't say it's a fact. It's a theory. Is that in the first 10 seasons or so, they cared about the characters, and after that, they hated the characters in the Simpsons. If I add some theory here, some humor theory, is that there are three main types of comedy. It's absurd comedy, which is huge mobile phone. If you can see a person walking around on the street with a huge mobile phone, and the joke would be that that's absurd, and perhaps even add some ways that would be a problem, like walking on the bus with a huge mobile phone. You see that for that comedy will come out of absurdity. That's the first one, and the second one is the humor is that you are better than the person that you are watching. I can't remember what that one was called, but you know, when you're laughing because they are stupider than you or more unlucky than you, like in slapstick, they are not necessarily more stupid than you, but they are more unlucky than you. If they fall on the ice and then you laugh because that looked hurtful, and I'm glad I'm not him, right? That's a joke. Types of humor like that, slapstick, but also like characters being too stupid or unlucky, or a person more pathetic than you are, and you laugh at that. And then the third one is ventile theory, which is jokes about problematic issues, taboos, and how you laugh at it because it strikes a nerve. You know, you get anxious, like racist jokes or like racist jokes, or yeah. So the third one is like ventile theory, which is that you laugh about things that are provocative and strike a nerve, right? So racist jokes, things like naughty jokes, sexual jokes, stuff like, ooh, can you say that in public? Ooh, I don't know about that. Basically South Park and Family Guy. Jokes about pedophilia, perversions of all kinds. That's ventile theory. And of course you may argue that that's the least positive one, but of course it's important to laugh too. Like laughter is a way to deal with strife, and black humor is a way to deal with stressful things like, you know, cancer, and trying to find something to laugh at even in the most horrible circumstances. Morrissey did that a lot in his music. There's a lot of humor in it. People don't hear it if they don't understand him, but there are humor. And I think one of the most depressing songs he ever written is I Know It's Over, and that one is is so depressing that it turns funny. I don't know if he intended to be like that, but I like, oh my god, it's so so yes. The thing is that the point is that the Simpsons always had that type of humor where you're supposed to laugh at the characters because they're stupid. Like Homer Simpson is a perfect example of that. Like, he's so stupid, he's so pathetic, he's so dumb. But also in the earlier seasons, there was a sympathetic side to him because he was supposed to be liked. But I think during the season 10, of course it happens gradually, but in season 10 and 11, you start to notice that now they are hating the characters. You're supposed to feel disdain for them more than sympathy. So I had like this milestone. I think like this is the turning point, and I think people. I did some research on it. There seems to be other people agreeing that the season where Maud Flanders dies, that's the season I noticed that now is the end. And after that, I haven't seen much of The Simpsons. I saw an episode a couple of weeks ago on Disney Plus. Yes, I still own it. I unsubscribed just due to the Gina Carano thing, but I pre-ordered it for a year, so I have it until that ends. And so I saw like one episode just to see what is it now. And the first thing I noticed, which is the same here, is that they skipped the intro. They had a long intro, and now it's like The Simpsons, and then it begins. They don't even have a couch joke. It's just into the story. I also noticed that Marge sounded different. It was a Christmas special, the last episode of last season, I think, because that's what we get in Norway. And it was like Marge sounded different. I guess the actor who plays her is getting old, so the harsh voice is getting difficult to make or something. I don't know. It sounded different. And of course, I didn't laugh much at all. Like once. Twice, I can't remember. I don't even remember much about what it was about. Something about the dog having some issues and some vegan and misanthropic ideas about how humans are worse than animals. Something like that. What you expect from a post-2010 show. Hateful towards humanity, hateful towards everybody who isn't very specific. I like this episode. And so the first thing I noticed was, of course, that they were just the Simpsons. And then you came into the doctor's office, and Homer Simpson was there, and he was being stupid, funny. And then I noticed that Dr. Hubbard didn't sound anything like Dr. Hubbard, and I was like, what's happened here? And then I did some research. It turns out that that's the first episode that changed the actor, because you can't have a white person do whatever. So it didn't sound like Hubbard at all, Dr. Hubbard at all. Which I don't care. They don't care, so why should I care? But as I said, I have not watched much of the shows since that season where Maud Flanders died, and the reason is that I see that a change in value. Before that, I would say that they cared about the characters. Of course, we laughed of them. They were stupid. They were all those things, but we also cared for them, and the writers cared for them. There were moments of redemption in Homer Simpson. He wasn't just stupid. He wasn't just egotistical. He had an ability to sometimes do good, sometimes be an okay person, and they weren't like one-dimensional characters of stupid white men. Homer wasn't like that, and the Christians weren't like stupid, bigoted Christians. They were three-dimensional characters who had good flaws and good sides. Like I remember Reverend Lovejoy, like, I found a new sin in the Bible or something like that. And that's a joke, but it's not like, it wasn't bashing Christianity. It was making a little bit fun of it, but also acknowledging how important it is to have a Christian culture. There's an episode where Bart sells his soul, and he has like trying to get the soul back, stuff like that. So there's a lot of pro-Christian episodes. But of course now, I don't know, I guess it's just bashing of Christians. I haven't watched it enough to care, or cared enough to watch. But the point is that it's very nice to make videos in this basement, huh? I own this whole house, but I have to make it in the basement. That's a joke on my expense, where you're supposed to laugh because you feel better than me. The episode where Moldflan dies, that's a character that's been throughout the seasons, from season 1, I think, up until that season. She's been a background character, but not like she has had scenes, been important to some episodes, and then she dies, and she dies by Homer being stupid, lol, and then there's a funeral, and Homer being stupid, lol, and there's like a disdain for the character that's been in that show for so many years, and that was not something they did in earlier episodes, where other characters have died. It's been like something to recognize. I can't remember many of the episodes, but I know there have been some. I think there was this jazz saxophonist, and that was like an important thing. But there were others I can't remember. I should remember, but I can't remember other episodes where characters have died. Perhaps that was the only one? If you know better than me, write in the comment section below. But the point is, when Maud died, it was just a joke, and the funeral was just a joke, and everything was just a joke. They didn't take time to breathe and recognize the severity of the character's death. And that's the season, I think. Now I don't. They don't care about the characters. I don't care about the characters. The show is dead now. And so I waited until this episode, watched it, and of course it's bad. Homer being stupid, that's half the show. Homer being stupid, Homer buying a car and being stupid. That's half the episode, and the rest is basically bashing Morrissey because of thought crime. He's been saying stuff since the 1980s. He has made a song called Bigmouth Strikes Again, which is like an explanation of his personality. That I'm sorry I said it. Bigmouth strikes again. My mouth, I can't keep it into myself. Again, he's making fun of himself, as is done later. He's not. I think it's. Let me be slightly patronizing to the culture we are in, but also giving credit to Morrissey. I think Morrissey is too complex of a character for this day and age. Too many stupid people get to talk too freely. They don't have the ability to understand where people come from and their point of view. We are in an extremely polarized society, where you think something unlike me, then I have to crucify you. No, I'm saying this as if it's tied to this day and age, but thinking about it, perhaps it's always been like that, really. I think it's now, but perhaps it's always been like this. That's a thing we have to think about. It's like, it's just now, it's a new thing, but I'm not so sure it's a new thing. Perhaps it is the human condition. People don't have the ability to understand where people are coming from. They don't care. If you disagree with me, you are a horrible human being. Yes, I think that's something to think about. Maybe it's not just now. Perhaps it's getting worse, but perhaps I think it's always been like this. It's like And realizing that, then perhaps you can understand humanity better. Because you see, like, atheists, for instance, Christians are so inconsiderate, they're homophobic, they think like this, they think like that. They are very collective in their blah, blah, blah. Again, very critical towards us as Christians. But they don't see now that they are doing the same. They are hunting each other, like Richard Dawkins just lost some award because he did thought crime, right? The most funny thing about humanists is that they don't understand humanity at all. They see Christians as bad. They don't see their own religious nature. How it is human to behave like that. And then, of course, you should recognize that and try to avoid that, right? You should avoid starting a lynching mob, a hate group, collecting people of angry people and pitchforkers and torches. You should try to avoid that, but you should recognize that that is a human condition that is not bound by religion. It's not bound by politics. It's not even bound by sports. Point is, all three fractions here has tendency to do this. Religions have a tendency to become mob-like sometimes. Politics have a tendency to do that. Sport has a tendency to do that. Every time sexuality, identity, humans identify and try to be part of a group, and when they're part of a group, they think those other people who are not like me are. It's a human condition. That's what I'm trying to say. Well, I think it's time for me to quit. I think I've said enough. It was a character assassination of Morrissey. The writers of Simpsons hate him. They may have liked him once, because the thing is, the writers seem to understand enough about Morrissey to actually make him recognizable as Morrissey, right? But he then added hate. So I would guess that he loved him as a younger person, and then, he's saying thought crime. He's for England going out of EU. Oh, that makes him Nazi. And he said that he prefers the company of people like him and not people unlike him, and that makes him horrible. I would never hang around with him because he's not like me. Again, the point is that it's the human condition. He's just being honest about it, Morrissey, right? I kind of forgot. The point is that it was a character assassination, and it was unfunny, and they hated him. Probably liked him once, but now they hate him. And like they hate the Simpson characters, the show has no heart and soul anymore, and it probably hasn't had it for years. And they criticize Family Guy for being this and that, nihilistic, stupid. But it's not. They are not any better at all. This, like in Family Guy, they hate the character of. It's been years since I watched Family Guy, but you know the daughter. There's a running gag that she's just the worst person. There's just lots of hatred jokes towards her, how ugly she is and stuff like that. And that's like a running joke throughout the show. Meg, I think she's called. But now it's the same in Simpsons. It's constantly like they hate every character and every character, like Dr. Nick. That's not Dr. Hubbard, I know the difference. He was like killed off in the movie, but just being killed off. And they seem to think, I don't know, perhaps he was written in again later. It's a cartoon after all, not reality. So he may be back, but he was supposed to be dead. And then he was just, I died! Bye. No, like, they don't care. No character is important anymore. I've been rambling, but I hope there's come some constructive out of it, and I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see if I'll make another video blog soon, 2-3 weeks from now, who knows. I have other issues, other objects, others, things I make Tankekrim. I'm editing a video of that, and it will take a while, and it's in Norwegian, so there's no point for anybody to know what it is. We'll see. If I have something to say, I will say it. So rate, subscribe, and comment. Bye bye.